Look me in the eyes and tell me you thought this show would be as good as it is. Because if you told me that a prequel to My Hero Academia starring an entirely fresh trio, I've already said all this, haven't I? Script writing's hard. I may have already made a slightly inflammatory video about this show, where I compared 4 episodes of television to 7 seasons of television, and for some reason, some people thought that was pretty unreasonable of me. So now that the full first season has been released and we have a more holistic point of comparison between the two, has my opinion changed? No man, you saw the thumbnail. Now, some of you are likely frustrated or confused, but worry not. I'm here to grab you by the hand and take you on a journey where you'll learn why I'm right. Or maybe, you'll just learn why I like it so much. My Hero Academia Vigilantes is a prequel to the most homoerotic thing to come out of Shonen Jump since Naruto. We follow college student Koichi Hamiwari as he sets out to make his neighborhood a safer place by operating as an illegal hero. A vigilante even. Along the way, he meets a young teenage girl who goes about her days performing as a street-side idol, and a quirkless, seemingly unemployed man who beats up drug addicts. The season is primarily spent following the group as they all pursue their own goals while learning more about each other and the kinds of people they share their city with. The benefit Vigilantes has over its predecessor is that we get to explore many kinds of characters and conflicts that MHA isn't able to by nature of the story it became. What I mean by this is we get characters whose main conflict that episode is their overbearing mother coming over that day, or the struggle of trying to live up to others and your own expectations of yourself in the things you're passionate about, or even the desire of trying so desperately to help and reconnect with someone who, while needing you, can still understandably resent you for the way you've treated them. These are, to name a few, some real human problems that this show tackles, and yes, it's packaged in characters who can glide and soar through the air, but those same characters also gotta struggle with their college paperwork, bandage their own wounds, and wash their supersuit when their day comes to a close. Now, I'm not saying that MHA doesn't have some moments that really drive the humanity. This scene where Bakugo really lets out all his boxed up emotions and we get to learn so much about how he views himself in his own life and in relation to the most important people in his life, that's my favorite moment in MHA, bar none. I just feel that for the volume of content there should be more of this and less of this. So then you might say, well, this is just a battle shonen manga. If you don't like that, then this story just isn't for you. Then I would say, well, I actually had a meal from here once that I really enjoyed, so even though I haven't been the biggest fan of their newer dishes, that doesn't mean I don't like the restaurant and wouldn't recommend it. I would. In fact, here you go. I'm gonna show you 2 scenes, one of them from this and one of them from that, and I would like you to take a wild guess which one had me sitting on my couch pogging more.
あ、そうそう。最後に光一くん個人への質問。
はい。
本当は君がクローマンなんでしょ。
Wanna take a wild guess? Correct! It was this one! I'm glad we're on the same page. Now, in case some people are for some reason confused as to why I feel this way, just for you, I'm sure scant few, I'll explain myself. Let's start with why this scene works. Throughout most of MHAV's episode 7, we get to know Makoto, what kind of person she is, what interests her, and what her goals are. So when she grabs Koichi by the hand at the end of the episode, and it's revealed that her quirk makes her effectively a human polygraph upon contact with another person, we then are thrown into this moment of tension where we remember that her brother is the most well-known cop in this series. Is she gonna sell him out? I don't know, man.
違いますよ。
あら、ごめん。
He gets her with the goddamned technicality. If we go back in the episode, you can even see that she lists him as the Crueler and not the Crawler, which has been set up, not just in this episode, but across the whole show so far, as people have been getting his name wrong since episode 1. Now, is it the best scene in the world? No, of course not. But is it an effective climax to the episode with cohesive writing that serves the characters and the world they inhabit? Yeah, it is. Okay, let's talk about the other one. So, half of this episode is a whole lot of characters fighting all for one. There's some back and forth for about 7.5 minutes, and it culminates in Tokoyami with some help from his allies dropping 5 big booms on All for One.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your
All for One
that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Boom!
Yeah, man, All for One is surely not just gonna get up and fly away after that, right? Imagine my fucking shock when he did exactly that. I'll be so for real. And you can't say, oh, it's to make him more intimidating. He's aura farming. There is no more aura to farm. The fields have been tilled. It's all he's been doing this whole show. Ow! Look, I may be coming off as overly harsh or unreasonable to some of you, and that's fine. I don't blame you. Partially, it's to help maintain the agenda, but mostly, it's to express my appreciation for these more intimate fight scenes and moments in battle shonen stories. When you have a big final battle like this, in which it makes sense that almost all of your cast can and should participate in it, I imagine you want to give as many of them as possible a moment in the sun before the story comes to a close. That all tracks for me. But that leads to this lack of tension in a lot of the early fights in this arc, because I know that All for One isn't gonna go down against Endeavor so early, because so many other characters need to have their moments against him. So now there's less tension in the fights involving him, leading to less interest in the fights themselves. Alright, now that I've hopefully helped you to understand at least why I prefer the direction the Vigilantes is heading in, I want to talk about something that I neglected to bring up in my first video about the show, but I think is actually the main takeaway I hope people have from this video. That being that both of these shows benefits from the other existing. The benefit the Vigilantes gains is pretty obvious. It gets to use a whole load of characters from the OG series without having to do that much character work with them, as the vast majority of the audience will have been introduced to them through the main series. But the other thing it gets to do, the more fun and interesting thing, is to take some of those characters, maybe even some less explored ones, and dive even deeper into them from a new angle. Tensei Ida was an absolute nothing burger of a character in the main series that only existed as motivation for his brother. Vigilantes now gives us a reason to look up to Tensei just like his brother does, because the anime shows him being someone worthy of admiration. We see the origin of Stain, more of Detective Scouchy before he didn't have time to shave anymore, and Loki became hotter when he was stressed the fuck out, but that's neither here nor there. We meet his awesome sister for the first time. Well, no complaints from me, officer. Sorry. Moving on. I talked about this in my first video, but getting to view this world through the eyes of someone who isn't the chosen one, Jesus, Luke Skywalker, Deku, goes a long way towards establishing a perspective to explore stories with that feel like MHA Vigilante stories, and not just more MHA stories. Putting Koichi in a normal college and having him study hero sociology in a normal-ass lecture hall just encapsulates my love for what Vigilantes does for this world. The guy who could have been in the main series but didn't make the deadline because he saw someone that needed saving and thought that was more important will always be more interesting to me. Anyway, if you think I'm gay and wrong for this opinion, please feel free to let me know how and why in the comments below. Mayhaps drop a like on your way down there. If you do, it would bring a bit more joy to the world. Well, my world technically, but if you think about if I'm in the slightly better mood, I'll probably be a bit nicer to other people and the effect might keep spreading from there.